Alright, it is Sunday afternoon. We are at the Great Sand Dunes National Park and Preserve, getting ready to hike up on the dunes here and try and get a photo of the dunes with the snow-capped mountains behind us. I'm out here today with Jason Fazio of Jason Fazio Photography. So we're going to see what it's like to hike up sand dunes with about 30 pounds of camera gear on your back. Should make for an interesting adventure. Let's go. I look at this slope right here in front of me, and all I can think of is how much fun it would be to just lay down and just tumble down the hill, just kicking up sand as you go, and just reach the bottom, just sprawl out into a big old yard sale. Basically, just kind of like wiped out on the ski slopes. But I'd probably do it if it wasn't for the fact that I'd have to climb all the way back up this slope, and that's not really what I want to be doing right now. So just going to continue hiking up this ridge here. It's a really awesome pattern, just the way it weaves back and forth, and the way that the light plays with the shadows. It really just cool to look at. And hopefully we get to the top, we'll be able to see those snow-capped peaks up there so we can get those in the photo. But as much fun as it'd be to roll down this hill, I'm just not going to do it right now. Well, so far the climb up here has been every bit as difficult as I imagined it was going to be. You literally, you take a step and your foot just slides right back down, almost to the point where you just picked it up and moved it from, and it's really taken quite a while to get up the hill here. The wind is moving along pretty good. It's blowing the sand right across the surface of the dunes here, and it's almost unbearable conditions to be out here trying to get up to the top of this dune here to get this photo. But we're probably about 2/3 of the way up where we want to get to, and the hardest part is about to come with this pretty steep incline up ahead. And I watched a couple people go up ahead of us trying to get up that climb there and having to take a couple breaks along the way. So no worse than what I've been doing, taking a break every probably about 10 to 20 steps, stop, get my breath. And like I said, it's just as difficult as I thought it was going to be trying to get up this dune. And but we're not giving up. We're going to make it. So we're going to make it. So now that we're here, I'm gonna set the tripod up, get the camera set on top of it, and get ready for a sunset photo. I'm hoping that the golden hue of that afternoon sun as it gets ready to set shines right on the side of the dune. And then on the other side, we'll have the shadow to kind of give that perspective and that contrast between the light and the dark as that leads your eye right up that peak that we're trying to photograph in the background there. So let's go ahead and get it set up. So as you can see, I've repositioned. Now I'm shooting into the sun. I've got this ridge right here. I'm going to use this as my leading line. I'm going to go for a vertical composition. I don't like shooting vertical composition all the time because I find that they're harder to market a print in the portrait orientation. But this shot here just seems to call out for that vertical composition. So that's what we're going to go for. We are going to shoot in the sun. We're going to slap some filters on in order to get that sun to darken up a little bit. Looks like right there. Gotta hurry a little bit because that sun is setting fast. So the clouds behind really picked up with some good color. Now I might be regretting that decision to relocate over here to the other side. I mean, we have good color over here, but there are some purples and some pinks behind us, and good movement on the clouds as well. Would have been really nice for a time-lapse sequence to really just show that movement in those clouds as they're coming over the peaks of the mountains. Looks like we're losing all the color in the sky there, so I'm going to start packing it up and start that hike back down the soft sand back to the parking lot. Hopefully it's a little bit easier than it was coming up the dunes. I imagine there might be a little bit of slipping and sliding on the way down, but I certainly wish I had a little saucer that I could just sit on and imitate Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation and slide down to the bottom end of the parking lot in one shot, but I don't see that happening in my future. So we'll just take it nice and easy, try to get down the mountain without, or down the sand dunes without injuring ourselves. So we'll see you at the other side. So we made it back to the car, safe and sound, didn't have any trembles or anything, and luckily, because I'll tell you, it got really dark. I mean, it is super dark out here. There's absolutely zero moon. You're out almost in the middle of nowhere, and not a lot of stars yet to really light up the sky, and even whenever they do, it's not going to provide the kind of illumination. I carpooled with Jason on the way down here and was an idiot and left my headlamp in the Jeep before I got out of it. So whenever I got here, I didn't have a headlamp, and just as I was probably about halfway down the dunes, and next thing you know, it's just pitch black, and I'm struggling to see where I go, and there's multiple lights up, and you can't tell, are you going towards the parking lot, are you going towards the campground, or maybe you're going towards the visitor center. So I zig one way thinking I'm going to the parking lot, but then I'd hear people talking on the other side, so I'd zig back the other way going over there like I'm going to the parking lot, but no, that's actually the visitor center, so I gotta zig back the other way. But fortunately the first parking lot that I walked up into was the correct parking lot. But it was a tough trip. That was probably a lot harder than whenever I hiked over the Continental Divide last year. The sand is just brutal to try to carry, and I mean, we all know I'm not a light individual to begin with, and then you throw a photo backpack on your back, and then you're trying to go up and down sand dunes, and it was not an easy thing to do. But I don't know, it was a good trip. I'm disappointed in the photos. I can tell when I get home. I will struggle to put together a photo that I'm happy with. Just really tough to find a composition that worked. Wasn't happy with whenever I was shooting straight into the sunlight, wasn't happy when I was shooting the other direction in the shadows, and so I'm really afraid that I put all this effort into it, and I hiked up and down those dunes and struggled and did everything that I could to try to come up with a photo, but I just don't think I got it this time. So we'll see when we get home, and whenever we put it in the computer and fire up Capture One and import those photos in there, see if we got something that's going to work. But my hopes really just are not high right now that came out. But still good to get out, still a nice way to enjoy Sunday. Got some exercise today, so if I kept doing this, maybe it'd be a little bit easier for me to get up and down those dunes. But I don't see myself coming back. If I do, any shot that I took here would probably be with a telephoto lens, sitting outside the park boundary and just kind of shooting and compressing the mountains behind and the dunes there. But I don't see a need to go up and down the dunes again, which is disappointing, because I've always had a desire to shoot the Milky Way here. I've always had a desire to shoot star trails here, but I just don't see a need to come back here and just go up and down those dunes again, not after as arduous of a hike it was up and down them, and not getting the shot that I was looking for. But I don't know, we'll see when we get home. I mean, you know, I've had other situations where I didn't think I had a good photo but walked away with one that I liked, so hopefully that's going to be the case this time, but we'll see when we get there.